My statement I'll begin with was the atmosphere in the building. It's something we've been striving to feel and see, and I thought the atmosphere was just absolutely fantastic. The roar in the building was there. You got your president of the university there, your governor's in town. I just thought it was fantastic to have that kind of energy and that kind of support in the building that would turn out to be just a great college basketball game. For that young team to play as well as they play in this environment, it's a credit again to Lorenzo and how he coaches that young group of guys. But I thought when they're up 10 coming down the stretch and that roared up in the building, it gave us the opportunity to close out the game and send it to overtime. And that's where our fans need to understand that's how important it is that we have that crowd there, because it gives you a chance to do that. And I think we pretty much fouled out their whole team, and they still kept their composure. And the game came down, really literally came down to, in a heavyweight match, to free throw shooting. They missed 6, we missed 14, and there was a difference in the game. Ike played his tail off. Josh played his tail off. I thought Renard played well. Brett, on their side, they had tremendous performance. It was just a really competitive, good game between two rival schools, and the difference in the game was their ability to knock down really some clutch free throws and our ability to miss some front ends or miss one of our 2 shots that really maybe could have gave us an opportunity to get some control of the game coming down the stretch in overtime.
Is there a prescription for fixing free throw struggles?
No, it's not a prescription. We shoot them. We're a good shooting team. You can look at it and say whether it's new guys in their first rival game, but they're young guys in their first rival game. So it's not a prescription. It's just you got to go through it. Sometimes you got to go through some failure to have some success, but we're not like we're a bad free throw shooting team night in, night out. We don't shoot free throws well. We shoot them every day. We put pressure on ourselves to shoot them. We just missed them in this game, and some of them had to do with fatigue or whatever, but we missed them.
Do you think there's a possibility as the free throw misses started to accumulate that people are going to the line kind of thinking, I don't want to also be the one to miss another free throw?
Athletes don't think like that. Players don't think that way. I'll guarantee you, having been a player, that's never on your mind. You get up and it's your turn to shoot them, you go up and shoot them. I thought there was some fatigue out there because we're worn a little bit, spent a little bit, and that had something to do with it maybe, but athletes don't think, they don't think that way.
And was there maybe miscommunication about after Josh's missed free throw about fouling right away?
No miscommunication at all.
Once you guys started to press in overtime, how do you think that was effective, and what was the rationale behind it?
The biggest thing with the pressing, and we were pressing all along. I thought the biggest difference was the crowd roared up, and that their youth and that experience took some rush shots. They didn't get back in transition, and they gave us a chance to attack and get some layups and get some buckets, and we got back in the game to close it out to go to overtime. That had to do with the crowd giving us energy, the crowd maybe fueling the run, but also the crowd putting a little bit more pressure on them, and they got kind of rattled a little bit too, but they regained their composure in overtime. Andrews has done a fantastic job of leading a group of young guys. His leadership is really, really evident on the floor.
What were you hoping to see on that last possession where Ike took a step-back jumper?
Exactly that. We put it in his hands, and the ball rattled around. It was a really good shot. He cleared himself nicely. I have to look at tape because I thought Josh was a little bit hampered on the rebound, but the call was not there. But Ike did a good job of getting a look. So there was a situation where they had missed. It would have been great if he had a lane to the basket. He did not. So he did a nice step back, and the ball just rattled in and out.
Likely called it for Ike because he really rose to the occasion today, it seemed like.
Say it again?
It seemed like Ike really rose to the occasion today. He was making a lot of shots he struggled with in the past.
I thought Ike played as hard as he could play and really did a nice job. He had a career night, and Hawkinson's 21 points, 20 rebounds. They played as hard as they could play. Unfortunately, we came on the short end, and it didn't come down to bad defense. It didn't come down to lack of confidence. It didn't. It came down to free throw shooting. In a hard-fought battle. It was a great game and great environment. They made theirs. We didn't make ours down the stretch, and that was literally the difference in the game.
Might have been a game where it would have been nice to have Valentine. What's the situation there?
He's kind of week to week. We'll take a look at him at the end of the week and everything. It would have been a game to have him with so many drives to the basket, but it also gave us an opportunity to play without him because I thought Connor was pretty effective in the game at times too. it would have been a better game to have Q and Darian King on their games because I just felt like we needed more energy on the floor, but yet it was very hard to get those other guys off the floor because they were playing so well. And you make rotations don't respond. You got to go back to guys.
What was the reasoning for going zone a little bit there in the middle of the second half?
They scored 7 out of 8 straight times in a row in man-to-man, and usually when you do that, you go zone. We did that coming out of a timeout. They had like 19 seconds on the shot clock. They shot an air ball, and they came down and missed again. Then they got kind of filling it again against the zone, and we switched back again.
You kept Connor out for the last kind of period of that game. What was kind of the decision there with 4 fouls to keep him out of the game?
No, defense. We felt like, again, they went to a small lineup where he's not as effective defending. And they were putting us in a lot of ball screens, and then we went back. I thought Brett played really well in the game for a guy not playing a lot of minutes. And then Junior is just a better defensive player than Connor. So when he's not scoring, and there were 2 or 3 rebounding opportunities where he was right there to get and did not get the rebound, then you need to make some changes and do something different with him. So the decision was made because they went small. We had to go a little bit small ball a little bit too as well.
Junior had 3 fouls most of the second half, and you kept going back to him because Connor was in foul trouble as well. How much faith do you have in Junior when he's got foul trouble?
It wasn't necessarily going back to him because we didn't really look at Connor's foul trouble per se as we did more of the energy and what we needed on the floor. It was defense more to get them shut down. They were scoring pretty freely there. We need to get them on the wraps a little bit, and Junior's a little bit better defensive player being on that back line, and it worked to that advantage. So Junior knows how to play. I thought he did a good job of keeping himself out of late game foul trouble, as I call it.
When you're in a game where the other team has 4 or 5 guys with 4 fouls, do you make the conscious shift to start driving the basket more and drive that foul total up?
Yeah, we tried like crazy to get Andrews out of the game because we knew he had the ability to control the game down the stretch. I felt like we fouled out 3 or 4 of their guys. They kept bringing bodies in there, and so it worked because we were in attack mode and we were sending guys out of the games. And again, to Andrews' credit, he kept himself away from fouling. He did a good job of staying away from that ball and defending the ball as much as we tried to get the ball in the hands of the guy he was guarding and kept him in the game. And he made some key free throws, obviously, down the stretch. But we are conscious of what's going on. We are trying to attack people to have the 4 fouls to put pressure on them to play.
They've been in foul trouble a lot this year. Do you think Lorenzo considers foul trouble sort of the cost of doing business for the type of defense he wants to play?
No question. With that young of a team, the best thing for them to do is to take that youthful energy and to play hard and get up the line and take chances and gamble and get you spread out and attack you. So you're going to have some fouls in those situations. They will get better as time goes on, but they handled themselves well for their first true road game and a rival game. For those young guys, they did a good job.